All right, guys. Today I'm going to be building the quickest app I've ever built in Scaffold-Eth to kind of show off what it's about. So first things first, you want to clone the Scaffold-Eth repo into a directory of yours and go into that directory and then do a yarn space install. And that's going to get everything set up for you. And after that's done, you want to open up 3 terminals and have yarn and type in, go into that repository and then yarn chain to start your local hard hat chain. And in another one, you're going to go yarn start in order to get your front end running, and then yarn deploy to get your contract onto the chain. Now, Scaffold-Eth already comes with a sample contract. And just to give you an overview of the whole repository and your packages, this is the main thing you're going to be worrying about. You have Hardhat and Next.js. So your contract is going to be under Hardhat contracts. And in Next.js, we'll get into this later once we're done with the contract. That's all the front end stuff. Great. So this is what the contract looks like in code. And then on our localhost 3000, we can see all of the, behind the scenes of the contract. So let's update some things to show how quick everything is. So let's make another mapping called my mapping, and we'll make it public so that we can see it. My mapping. Great. Let's save that, and then we will do another yarn deploy to get that on our front end. All righty, come on. Great. So now we have my mapping right here. Now let's update our mapping to, give ourselves some numbers, because right now we don't have anything. So let's put in our front end address, or our burner wallet address, and give ourselves a massive number like 100. Save that and yarn deploy again. My computer is from my freshman year of college, so that is the reason why I kind of did some things ahead of time here. All right, so now everything should be updated. So now when we try to read our mapping again, we should get 100. 100. Whoa. All right, let's hit a little reload here. A little reload action. Get things up and running again. It's actually a storm right now, and my internet seems to suffer really, really bad when there's a storm, because the location of my place is in a freaking mountain range. So our Wi-Fi goes out a lot. All right, there we go. 100. Great. So that was just to demonstrate how quick that is. So we don't really care about that. See ya, see ya. All right, what do we want our contract to do? Well, we're going to have a contract that changes the owner of the contract. So let's have a function called change owner. And it's going to take in an address. And this is going to be called new owner. And we're going to make it public. And we have a little modifier down here called isOwner. So we'll make sure only the owner can do this. And what are we going to do? We're going to set our owner equal to the new owner. Great. Now, this is going to cause an issue, but we'll get right into that. So it's going to give me an error, and the error says that owner is immutable. So we need to change that. Boom, see you. All right, owner is now mutable. So now when we deploy our contract, everything will go smoothly, and we'll never have a contract that doesn't work because it's going to get caught and it's going to have great error handling. Great. So now we can actually change the owner. So let's change the owner to Vitalik.eth. And this should give us another error. Oh no, we don't have any funds. That's going to come from a different error. But we are also not the owner. So we need to change our deploy script and make ourselves the owner. In addition to that, we can set a new greeting and we can send some ETH through there. But that's not going to work either because we need to turn this into way, which is a button for that. And that's still not going to work because we don't have any funds. But that's not a problem because this little button right here will fill our wallet up with Ethereum, with hard hat Ethereum. And so now this should work. Sick. So our greeting is updated, and that is awesome. All right, so now let us change ourselves to the owner of the contract so that we can change the owner. So let's go into our deploy script over here. And these arguments get passed into the constructor. We don't want the deployer, we don't want the deployer to be the owner. We want our front end wallet to be the owner. Boom. All right, save that, deploy that, go up here, and we should see that our owner is now this wallet right here. Perhaps we need to hit a little reload. Come on, chug along. Whoa. All right, so nothing has changed, but that's because we got an error up here. Now, what kind of error did we get? It looks like I need to put this inside of quotes. So let us do that real quick and deploy that again. So once we're the owner, then we can change our owner to a different owner, and then we're ready to make the front end. Great, so now we're the owner. So now we can call change owner and actually change it to Vitalik.eth. Boom, he's got a cool little neon cat. All right, great. So that works. So we know our function works. So now we're ready to move to the front end of things. Great. So let's open up Next.js. We got some cool components here, and we have our main page right here. So we're gonna say goodbye to most of this stuff and fill it in with cool stuff. So Scaffold-Eth comes with Tailwind, which is very nice for components, for modifying components, and what is my Daisy UI? Yeah, and it also comes with Daisy UI. I did not know about component libraries for the longest time, and when I finally discovered Daisy UI, it was freaking mind-blowing. And my favorite component ever is the card. It's just a nice box. I'll copy that. And let's put our card inside of this nice div here that should center everything for us. What's going on? All right. Sick. All right, let's change the card title to change owner, because that's what it does. It changes the owner. All right, now let's put in our address, our wallet address. So we know who we are, and then we'll have another component, another part for the person who owns the contract, and then we'll have an input so that we can input who we want the new owner to be, and we'll have a button that executes all of that. So let's get started. So Scaffold-Eth comes with pre-built components, which are super nice, and then we'll see what that looks like. So let's go ahead and get this component from Scaffold-Eth address, and this will take in a prop called address. So we haven't actually defined address yet, but that's okay because WAGME has our back. So let's define something, and this will be our address. And from WAGME, we will use account. There it is. Use account WAGME imports it. Very nice. And there we go. So let's see what our front end looks like. Oh my God, this always happens to me. All right, on certain versions of Next.js, you need to put a thing up here called use client. This always gets me. Yes. All right. So I don't think that's fully loaded in yet. And we need to get rid of this image. All right, great. So we have our little dude here, and we can click on this guy, and this will take us to the block explorer for Hardhat once this loads. And if we're, developing not on Hardhat, maybe on Foundry, on Gnosis, this will actually update itself. And so instead of taking you to the Hardhat block explorer, you'll be on whatever block explorer you're using. Great. So let's get rid of this picture right here. And let's add a little div here that says your address. And now we want to have a little area for what the, all right. Vim is supposed to make me faster, not slower. So we'll copy this and paste it in here. All right, perfect. We'll make this, oh, we don't want an H2. We want this one. That's what we want. Copy that, paste that here. Great. Your address, and here we'll have the owner's address. So how can we get the owner's address? So we could use WAGME again, but let's use a Scaffold-Eth component because those are a lot nicer. So we can use scaffold contract read to read values from our contract. And we need to specify some things here. First, we need to specify the contract name in case we have more than one contract. In this case, we just have one called your contract. And we also need to get the function name. And it's actually a variable, but it's called owner. And this is going to return some data, and we'll rename this data to owner so that we can actually use the owner down here. So let's finish this up. So we have address equals, and then this time it's going to be owner. Owner. Beautiful. So let's save that, and then should format, and we'll see how our front end changes. Great. So we have your address and the owner's address. So now we want to be able to input an address that we want to be the new owner. And there's another Scaffold-Eth component for this called address input. Doop. And this is going to take a value, and we're going to call this new address. And it's also going to set something on change. And we need to use state so that it remembers. So we're going to have new address and set new address. And we're going to use state. There we go. From React. Oops. Okay, great. So on change, this input is going to update set new address. Very nice. All right. What the? All right. So still loading. So in this little address section here, this will also display like little blocky guys, and it's just going to look a lot nicer than just a normal input. If you go metallic.eth, it's going to be this guy. And so let's change this button because we're not buying shoes here. We are changing the owner. So we'll do that, change owner, and then also on click, this is going to do something. So we need to write to our contract, to our function at our contract. So there's use contract read, and then we also have use scaffold contract write. So let's wire this one up real quick. Use scaffold contract write. And for this part, we can just do some copy paste action. These are going to be more or less the same, except instead of function name being owner, we need, let's see if it'll autocomplete this for us. We need change owner. There it is. And this does take in one argument, so we can pass in our argument from state, which is new address. Yeah. All right. Cool. No problems. Oh, one problem over here. So yes, on click, we're going to be calling that new function we just defined, which we forgot to name. So over here we have, this is called write async. There it is. And we're going to rename this function to change owner. Great. So now that function has a name, we can call that function. We're going to do change owner. Boom. All right. Everything looks great. What is, okay. Okay. All right. That's not even true. Okay. There we go. Change owner. Great. So now let's redeploy our contract to kind of reset things. So we can go yarn deploy, and then we can put a little reset flag on here. And this should reset all the things. So now we can actually set Vitalik's address to the owner from scratch. Vitalik.eth. Boom. Transaction completed successfully. And this should update as well, unless I need to hit a little refresh. Yes. All right, sick. So now that our app is done, we need to get the contract on a chain. So we're going to put it on Sepolia. And we also need to get our app on a live URL. So let's get into how to do that. So in order to deploy our contract to Sepolia, we need to generate a burner wallet that we can use gas from that wallet to pay for the contract deployment. So here we have our wallet, and our private keys are hidden away, so nobody's going to steal those. And we can copy this address, and we can send some Scaffold-Eth to it. All righty. Send. Boom. That's our burner wallet. We'll send 0.5. Do that, confirm that, and speed it up. Speed up. Go faster. All right, sick. So once that goes through, we'll be able to go yarn deploy, and then we got to put a little flag on it to specify the network. And we're going to call that network Sepolia. And looks like our ETH just went through, so this should be good to go. And so now our contract's going to be on Sepolia, but our front end is still going to look a little wonky because it still thinks it's on hard hat. So we needed to change that. Not in this one. It's on our front end, actually. So we're going to go to Next.js, our app, and we're going to go to scaffold-config.ts. And here we're still on hard hat, and so we want to change that to Sepolia. And we also want burner wallets. So wait, okay, that used to be true. Yeah, so we'll make that false. We'll save that, and then we will, yeah, we actually need to redeploy this again. Yeah, so it's still on hard hat over here. Whoa, all right, we're on Sepolia now. Sweet. So we're still the owner, and so we can change this to Vitalik. But first, let's get this app on the internet. So we can go yarn Vercel YOLO and production. So the YOLO will just bypass all of Vercel's. I don't know. Sometimes you get like countless errors. All right. So yes, we want to deploy that. That's good. Don't want to link anything. Nope. What's my project's name? Change owner. All right. Looks good. Okay. So one more thing. No, don't want to do that. All right, sick. So we can observe the deployment. This is probably going to take a little bit of time. But in the meantime, let's continue messing around with our contract. So this is not on a live network yet, but it is on Sepolia. And I can prove that to you because when I click on my little blocky guy, I'm going to be taken to the Sepolia testnet Etherscan. So that's looking good. So we don't actually have any funds here, so I don't know if this is going to work. All right. I totally knew that was going to happen, so I don't know why I even did that. Let's send some funds to my address so that we can do that. All right. Copy this little clipboard thingy. And all right, now we can send some Sepolia. Paste that, and we'll send like, I don't want to send a whole lot. Yeah, the network prices are high, but that's all right. All right, sweet. Did that go through already? Yo, what happened to my... Oh, there you go. All right. So that's not done yet. All right, so let's change this to Vitalik.eth. Come on. Well, I'm probably gonna have to sign something here. But yeah, this is phenomenal. I mean, Usually it would take you a lot longer to write your contract and to make a nice front end, but just in terms of, start to finish, we're already at the finished product here. We're just waiting on internet and Vercel. So hackathons, or if you're prototyping, if you want to get out some MVPs out there just to see if the app is useful. Oh yeah, here we go. All right, yeah. So Vitalik is now the owner, so it's great. For minimum viable products and things like that, this is amazing. I have a bunch of small little projects that I've built with Scaffold-Eth, and honestly, I don't even know how I would have gone about doing that without Scaffold-Eth. So here we are. We are on a live internet website, and we have our contract here on Sepolia. So that covers everything. We have our packages, we have our hard hats, so we can continue messing around with this if we want, and then of course redeploy it. And in our Next.js, we have our components, so we can add more components and just really beef up our UI. But that is everything. So thank you so much, guys. Have a good one.